Good morning, good evening, and good night, wherever you are, and welcome to Requiem for London. And we place our scene in an old abandoned pub. The windows have been boarded up, the air is sort of thick and rancid. There is a rot that stings the nostrils. There is a darkness that seems to emerge from the basement, that seems to corrupt this establishment. And as we go further in, we see before us a kind of a haven, a study, an area of contemplation, mixed in with a few old bodies and bones. And we see a light shining on a desk, and a sort of lanky, strange figure looking over what appears to be a book and some pages and notes on the old dusty table.
Hello.
Oh, sorry. A strange figure who then looks around and goes hello, and then
Sorry.
no. So what were your character's thoughts, feelings of these past nights?
So what? Yeah. So this is he's gone with Maria into the realms of the Ordo Dracul, which was a bizarre experience that he got quite injured down there. Had to run away from this monstrosity of a werewolf, and ended up escaping with all this mad crap going around him. And he ended up getting some documents. He said it was like some papers or maybe a book, or he tore some information out of somewhere that was relevant to him from his massive library before the Enlightened just burnt it all down, like the heathens they are. And so over the past, how long do you say it was since that happened?
We'll reference this as your character being set up, and it'll go over a couple of weeks. So at the moment, it's okay. Just a couple of days.
Okay.
Kind of recover.
But he's got the information from the library. He's got the information, and he's also got this very strange book with the positive and negative on it as well. And he's just been preoccupied going through those, and he's remembering back into his breathing days when he actually was a student, and just getting lost in academia and getting lost in study and revision. So it's kind of taken over, just trying to understand the information that he has in front of him. So the nights are just all blended into one. He can barely remember speaking to any ghouls that come along and like say hello. They might possibly leave him someone to feed on. He'll feed off them, and they take the body away. But that's basically it. It's been sleep during the daytime, wake up at nighttime, read these books, feed, sleep during the daytime, wake up during the nighttime, read these books, feed, and that's basically been his life.
So it has been quite intense, and it has been a blur. Books, these notes, because they have mentions of your clan, mentions of your ancestry, and yes, they even use Gaelic terms or ancient sort of terms that even you're not quite familiar with, but you know only an expert or someone in the field would understand or make these notes of. And yes, your ghouls, of course, try to talk to you. They try to rouse you to attend certain meetings or certain gatherings, or to help them with certain events. But of course, you dismiss them or tell them to sort it amongst themselves, and they dare not defy you. They dare not to disagree with you. And they still remain loyal. They still remain as forward as ever. And yes, you are given a body or so to generate, to gain blood, and this time a corpse, it's so hard to tell sometimes. Either way, it's been laying in the few days before a ghoul turns up to carry it away or moves aside, dare not disrupting you. or interrupting whatever you're doing. Now, these past few weeks, you've been intensely looking at these notes that you have grabbed from one of the Ordo Dracul book, a book that is specialized, or the individual who wrote it at least specialized in clans or blood clans, and especially the weaker blood clans. And it has a kind of a mention of the writer himself. It doesn't mention a name, but the title of the third order member of the council of London, the college, and other long and endless titles. But it seems he wished to prove a subject matter of the worth of lesser bloodlines, that lesser bloodlines potentially had keys or ways to scales or paths that the Ordo Dracul would be interested in. But you didn't grab the whole book. You only managed to get a few of the pages, and the pages that you get, you interpret. And I will allow you, I think, what is your intelligence in academia?
Intelligence is 2, academia is 2.
Might need a roll there, I think, so to interpret all of this. So I think a 4 dice roll. Let's just see how many successes you gain.
Okay. No successes.
No. Okay. So you look at the notes, and it's all mixed. It's random. You tore out some of the wrong pages and the right pages. But all you can learn from them is the mention of a dynasty called the Holy, or the godlike, the holy, the worthy, something. And it seems to come from the Asranian Empire, the early Asranian Empire. It goes back to like 2000 BC, where it recalls it's a banishment of a clan or a banishment of a group to the Iron Isles, or the Iron Island. And then it goes on to a further reference of the walkers or the speakers. It seems to mix the words. The translation is not quite correct. And it seems to be this is a key. It was a previous Banshee name. It was a former Banshee name. But you don't quite understand the rest of the translations. You don't quite grasp the rest of the convictions. You need more time. Or you need to speak to at least another elder or a member of the Banshee to quite understand some of these translations, these Gaelic sort of terms.
As he reads this, then he's thinking back about his sire, who, although is quite mad, would be quite knowledgeable on this.
Let him speak languages that you still don't know what they mean, and you are unsure whether he's incredibly wise, intelligent, or mad and foolish. And some of these words, actually, you have heard him say. You've heard him translate. You've never seen them in any other book or any other translation. But it seems like something happened, and this group, the group called the Speakers, the Walkers, were banished, sent to the Iron Isles. And then it references, and it's more clear in this statement, of a purge or destruction or elimination of the bloodline via the Camarilla, who were many things but kept well notes, or kept many records and notes, as the Roman Empire did, and explained the sort of purging of this clan, this group, and then their banishment to Ireland, or a sole survivor, an Ancilla, it describes, who fled to Ireland and started a new group or a new form. Then she didn't refer to or called the Banshees thereafter. Now, and this does mention 1 to 2 references to the Deva, but you're unsure as to what it means, the translations. But definitely the Deva are involved in the banishment or the exile of your clan.
Well, that wouldn't survive him, seeing as the historical feud between the two clans. Although, oh, could you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, he just got out there for a second. Carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise him. The fact that there's the animosity between the Deva and the Banshees. So it wouldn't surprise him they're involved, but also just being referred to a lesser bloodline as well. That's kind of rankling him a little bit. So his blood is up.
But you look for these notes, and you can't go any further with them. You need the help of your sire to fully translate them, to fully understand them. And so that takes up quite a few days just to try to grasp that. Then you go to the book, this strange metallic book, and even trying to open it seems to be quite a great deal of effort, or will or force is needed to do so. And even as you open it, see the pages are very heavy and thick. And when you look upon it, it seems to be metallic. All the pages are metallic, and it is a sort of a Babylonian or hieroglyphic sort of language. But as you look through it, seems to be a diary or a notebook. It seems to have sections or areas specific to each part of the book, and each part of the book is translated different or has different language or hieroglyphs involved. And even as you look to it and as you try to understand it, the words seem to rearrange themselves. The images seem to re-emerge or appear different every time you look through it. But they seem to be the images of entities, people gathering or meeting, arranging or bargaining. It seems to be a theme. And this goes on and back and forth. And now we shall do another roll, and this will be your intelligence and academics, but it's going to be -3 due to the hardness.
Just 1 dice 10 then.
You at any point you may spend willpower, just to give you as a reference there.
So willpower just means I get an extra dice to roll, doesn't it?
No, you get an extra 3 dice.
Fun.
So
then I shall roll 4 dice and spend a willpower point.
Mm-hmm.
And I get 1 success.
Okay, all right, just 1 success. So you look, and as you do so, it's draining. You spend nights just staring at the language, staring at the words, trying to understand it. You look on the internet, you look on other books, other references, everything at your disposal, even other contacts, just to understand what this language is or what it's trying to mean. And as you look, you see that, yes, a section of the book, only 2 to 3 pages, has a scent of a kindred on it.
It's odd.
And yes, definitely. You can just pick that up, just a sort of scent of a kindred or kindred blood, at least. Definitely. Very old, very faint, but it's there. You spend many days now staring at this book, sniffing it. It's just subtly there. And as you look at these pages, they do seem to have a moon symbol adorned on them. Very subtle, very just in the corner. And of course, due to the bane, due to the moon's strange essence, you kind of, you examine this particular part of the book, this particular section. And as you do so, you look at the wording, you look at all the phrases, and you can roughly translate 1 or 2 words, but they seem to be a kind of binary system. They seem to be written in a sort of earthly or human language, but there's a kind of a positive, negative element to the words. And not only positive, negative, it takes you some time to realize and figure out there's a quantum effect. It's kind of, some of the words are both negative and positive, negative. It gets mixed and it gets so hard to understand, but it takes you such a great deal of time. And as you do so, you lose another point of willpower.
Okay.
That's just from succeeding the roll. If you failed, it would have been a lot more. So you are drained by this. Your very will. It takes such hard time to concentrate, to force your eyes onto the words to understand it. And as you look at the words, not only do they have this positive, negative, maybe sort of meaning, the words change. The words react to your mood. The words sort of interpret your will, what you're trying to seek. It's like a being trying to understand another being and trying to understand each other's language. And you've gone to the point where you've even talked to the book. You sort of speak to it like, come on, reveal your secrets. Stop being a tease, or got angry at it, like, stop playing with me. I know that translation's correct. And then suddenly it becomes correct.
How can you read a book that's reading you?
This book is reading you. You realize this. There's a back and forth going on here. And you will, just on a side note, because of your success, it was a very difficult challenge. So you potentially can gain 1 dot on something called Sky Tongue.
Sky Tongue?
Sky Tongue. And it seems to be the language. It refers to itself as the language of the higher beings, of the enlightened beings. Sky Tongue.
Okay.
And it seems to be this is an accord. It seems to be this what's written down there as a contractual sort of agreement between 2 bodies, 2 entities, and a sort of a description of the events. And as you sort of spend these weeks trying to understand this, trying to grasp just this much information, it's been frustrating. You've actually hit a ghoul or beaten some individuals or your victims out of fear, frustration.
It's their fault for getting in the way.
Of course.
They shouldn't be there.
But after a while, you realize that actually the way it's reacting to you figure out that your blood may have more success than you have. Kindred Vitae has always had potent effects on mystical items or powers. And you feel yourself being quite powerful, quite dominant in your blood, that you feel that, yes, if you use the blood point or a couple of blood points on the book, it may become more tuned to you, or you become more tuned to it. And this is your realization. This is the end of your success. So this is the information you gain.
Well, if the book wants to be fed, let's feed the book. So he'll open the pages, and on one of the pages that he can actually make sense out of, that seems to be responding quite well to him, he will just open up his wrist and give the book what it wants.
Okay, so the book will feed off you 3 blood points.
Okay.
It's quite a lot. And as you drain the blood points into it, it's quite a large amount of thick, goopy sort of kindred vitae that kind of drips and evaporates. It seems to draw into the book. And as you do this, the letters become red. The letters become a blood, thick liquid that mutates almost and translate into a language that you understand, that you can feel, you can sense your kindred senses. And the book seems to understand you now. It seems to have grasped your essence, your power, your very being. And as you look and you're drawn into the book, suddenly a bright light flashes over you. You feel your very being, your very essence torn out of yourself and plunged into a darkness, into a pit, into a vast chasm. And as you do so, you see other beings flying down this chasm into a sort of a twirling vortex of storm and lightning that emits and strikes those around it. And as this vortex swirls, it sucks you in and spits you out. You land, you hit brick, you hit floor, you hit stone. And you seem to have made like a meteor sort of impact, but no physical damage helps you. And you sort of stand up, but you stand up very different, very changed. And as you look around, oh, sorry, yeah, just to emphasize.
Sorry. As he lands, he'll smack into the ground and just lay there in his dead body and just tense his various limbs to see if anything's still operational. And if it still works, he will just get up very slowly. So he feels changed, and he'll just look around at where the hell he is. This is very odd.
As you get up and as you look around, you see before you this strange alien sort of landscape. You're surrounded by like an empty sort of sky that's filled with these floating trees or islands made of metal and wires. The air is thick and heavy. The ground is rough and black. The clouds around you are bursting with these balls of blue light that seem to shock around you. And the heavy sound of something below you, creating these massive footsteps and this sort of loud horn sound, emanates and fills this whole realm. And as you look to the trees that are creating these islands, these metallic, wired, mechanical kind of trees, whose tops you cannot see, they seem to form into the clouds themselves, whispering to each other, sounds of lies, truths, information, data, noises, confusion, and anarchy beyond your understanding.
As Aidan looks around at all this madness, he'll just think, the book must be fucking with me now. I can't be in the book must be in me, it must be inside my head.
As you realize this, and as you think, you take a step forward. And as you move forward, oh my God, it hurts. And you look to your hands, you look to your skin, and you're wearing the same uniform, the clothing you was wearing earlier, but it's quite baggy on you, it's quite heavy on you. And you look to your hands, they are wrinkly. You are old, you're frail, you're weak. And not only this, you're breathing normally. You can feel your chest, you have a heartbeat, you can taste, you can feel, you can smell. Oh, it's so horrible, but you can smell. You are mortal. You are very weak, very frail, very not conscious, but mortal nonetheless. And you cannot hear the beast anymore. That part of you that was you, that is you, was it me? It's gone. It's no longer there. It's evaporated.
Aidan will just feel the odd sense of, may even be loneliness, if you're so used to having the beast be a part of you, even though it's not a voice in your head that literally tells you things. It's something that pushes you in a certain way. It's something that makes you do things. And with that gone, it's almost like someone's taken something away from you, especially being used to it for so many years. And he also looks down at his hands, and he's old, and he's alive, and he hasn't got the beast, and he's breathing, and he'll try and, is there anywhere there's a reflective surface he could possibly look and maybe see an image?
There's a sort of a dirty pool of water. That's a black kind of pool of water where the light from these trees seems to reflect upon.
He'll, taking steps that give him pain, he'll walk over to this pool of water and just look down at it, and just not knowing what to expect coming back up in.
And you see yourself a much older, frail version of yourself, but it is you. And it's so strange that it is you, but different. But this is the most, to describe it, honest version of yourself that you've ever seen. Whenever you have looked in the mirror, it's never been quite you. It's always the glowy tint of the beast in the background, the victim that you're merely looking at from the mirror or thinking of. But this is the first time that you've seen yourself as you, wholly you. But you look so ill, so weak, so frail, so close to death.
He'll, apologies, Aidan will crouch down on his old legs, probably hearing them crack and creak, and he'll, at this dirty pool of water, and he'll just put his hand in the water so the image kind of ripples, and then he'll just take a deep breath, and he'll just rinse his face, and then get up again and look down and just think, my God, what's happened to me? I'm an old man now. This doesn't feel very nice at all.
It's so strange because it feels awful. Your bones are creaking, your back's hurting, your knees are wobbly. It's terrible sort of stomach or chest pains, but you know what? It's the most wonderful you've felt in years, decades. To actually feel pain, to actually feel stiffness, to feel your heart beating, and to wet your lips, and to actually feel your face and your lips. It's a strange pain pleasure of
It must be waking up. It must be also having a really bad hangover, but that's the best you felt in
yes,
years.
yes. It's like the worst hangover ever after like a week binge. Like you finally have gotten over it. You finally reached beyond it, and now you're coming to your senses, as it were. You're starting to realize who you are, and you kind of look at it like it was a dream, like your past life, that thing in that basement, in that pub. Oh, the what I did to that person, I tore into them, I ripped them in half and fed off them like they were nothing. That realization of what you were, but it comes across like a dream, a nightmare, almost.
And as this nightmare, this dream unfolds, again, Aiden will just try and push the thoughts of all the horrific things he does from the back of his mind, things that just seem so normal and just seem so justified, that now seem very strange and horrific, things that he'd never think about doing ever. He'll again just look around and just try and gather his thoughts and just gather his area and just try and find something or someone. Like, why am I here? Like, well, like I need to do something. I need to find something.
Look, as you look around, as you kind of gather yourself, you see before you this very large central sort of tree, and you seem to be on a sort of floating island that's connected to this tree via these wires. There's trunks, these sort of roots almost, and this large tree seems to form, but there is a kind of a doorway or an entrance just beneath it or just in it that is opposite you, but it's you have to go across these kind of large sort of cables, these large loops that lead to the other side. And
how's my old man frame taking this? It's not very good.
We'll roll some dice in a minute, but at the moment, yes, you're looking at this. But as you're on this little island, you hear noises, you hear sounds, you hear rustling through the what seem to be bushes or trees or something, wires or cabling. You hear kind of a hissing noise, a sound of and for a brief moment you're just seeing the shadow in a very dark pit of shadow. This thing seems to be avoiding the light. All you can see suddenly with your very sort of, you have to look in close with your old man sort of eyes, but you just see these teeth stare at you, this mouth stare at you, this hunger that stares at you, and you feel so afraid of it, so warned by it.
And can Aiden kind of work out this could maybe represent his beast at all, or
it's so alien, it's so foreign, you're not sure, plus the circumstances you're surrounding.
Well, as he's an old man that suddenly got that suddenly has human emotions and human senses again, real feel hit him for the first time in God knows how many years, and he'll just be paralyzed looking at this thing, and as it stays in the shadows, just hissing at him, looking at him with his hunger, with his teeth, he'll just try and shamble away from it, but just be terrified as he does so.
And we shall do an official old man terrified roll. So this will be your, let us say, stamina.
Yeah.
And athletics, but minusing 3 due to your old manness.
Stamina 2, athletics 2, so I'm rolling 1 dice.
Okay, so it's 1 dice and we'll see what happens.
Again, 9.
Oh, well done. Okay, so you go across this cabling, this kind of roots, these sort of big mesh of wires, and as you walk across, you see light beaming across these wires, across these roots. And at one moment, and it takes you so long. Your old version of yourself could have just jumped the distance with a bit of blood. He could have just leaped through the air across the sky into the area needed, but it's taking you minutes, nearly half an hour, just to kind of crawl along this cabling. And of course, the island behind you starts to be ravaged. It starts to disappear, as if whatever entity is there or creature starts to swallow it whole. And now it begins to follow the cabling. It follows you.
Oh, shit.
And then you say that as you look back and say, "Oh, shit." Your old, sort of very skinny, sort of old man, sort of arms and
He needs a cane. He needs some kind of cane.
You need this cane. You're kind of just going across it. And as you do cross this cabling, you see below you like a mist or cloud. But you gain a brief moment as you look. There's something down there that's huge or massive, that's walking or moving, and you see these sort of wings or this head that kind of pops up every now and then, but it's beyond description, beyond understanding. But there's some entity below you that is beyond size or measurement. But you carry on and you keep pushing forward for the fear behind you. And as you do so, you manage to get to the other edge, and you do so fine without circumstance of event. And you see the entity sort of slowly, this shadow kind of crawling along the cabling or absorbing it and heading towards you. But before you are presented this grand tree, this machine cable-like tree that's metallically grown. And what you see before you thought was a doorway or an archway or something grand. It appears to be just a simple office door that's presented before you.
An office door?
Yeah, the most boring, plain sort of door you could think of is presented before you.
Well, this old man, he'll glance back and look at this thing crawling across the wire and think he wants none of that. So, shambling, sweating, his heart pounding in his chest, he'll go over to this tree and he'll look at the tree. It's a metallic tree, but at the moment, all he wants to do is get away. He needs to get to this door. He doesn't care what it looks like. He doesn't care. It looks like an office. He needs to get out. He needs to get away. And he'll go to this door and he'll attempt to open the door.
As you do so, the door opens and you're presented with kind of a long corridor before you that leads you straight into this tree, into the boughs of this tree. And there's fear. There's such a fear behind you of this thing that's chasing you, and you just walk forward, or you go forward, and the door closes behind you via if you do it, or the door itself, it just closes behind you, and you're presented suddenly with lounge music, elevator music. And suddenly you kind of you go into a room, and it seems to be a waiting room. You see individuals, people sat, others going back and forth, and they all look somewhat strange. Some of them look human, others look tall and thin, others are sort of animal-like or alien-like. Some are squids or tentacles. And yes, you do see a snail there that seems to be crawling, a large snail that seems to be crawling across the floor, but this snail seems to have paperwork and pens attached to its back. And as you look around the room, we can do another roll just to represent how much you gain or how much you work out. So this would be a wits. I really don't know the other role. Let's say it's going to be socialize to represent how we come across and how you integrate. So wits and socialize. Let's just see how many successes you get.
Okay, so wits 3, socialize 1. So it'd be 4 dice.
All right, 4 dice.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Oh, I thought it was a bad roll, but no, he's not done it.
No, I just can't even roll the bloody dice.
Well, you got the hashtag in the wrong area there, man.
Just don't tell everybody, Dave.
Oh,
no, it's your fault now. I really shit roll. 2525.
Oh well, no, it doesn't matter much. You look around the room, and yes, you just see these strange figures, these strange people. And as there's more light, yes, you do look, and you are wearing your clothing, but you're really your clothing's very baggy on you. It's very heavy or long on you, and people kind of look at you in a strange way, but in that way of, someone would look at a tourist. It's that kind of manner. They look at you.
As he wanders around, if there's that snail wandering about, he'll shamble over to the snail.
Yep.
Excuse me, I've seen someone like you. Could have been you before at the Wizard's Knob. What is this place?
Right, the snail literally just takes about 5 minutes to turn its head to look towards you. And then suddenly those two kind of squinty eye things come out and bobble up towards you. And at this point, you have to repeat yourself a few times, like, hello, do you recognize me? Do you understand me?
He'll say, as this creature's being very, very slow, he'll just try and be very calm and just say things very slowly in a very precise manner.
And at that point, the snail kind of just nods. But even this nod takes about a minute. It just slowly nods its head. And then kind of carries on. So you are left to follow this snail for a good another 20 minutes, another 30 minutes as the snail slowly kind of progresses its way through the waiting room.
As he's got hours to go, he'll follow the snail, even though it wasn't a yes or no answer.
It just seems to nod and go forward. And it seems to kind of go forward for a long time, for at least 30 minutes. And yes, you're in this room, and it seems to be endless. It just seems to keep going as you look to your left and right. It's like the largest airport you've ever seen.
And as he's an old man, he must be getting very tired now.
Oh yes, this is taking. I would be tempted to make you do a stamina roll, but I think a bit too much right now. So yes, you're feeling your bones weigh on you. The arthritis is kicking in, and as you go forward, there's people here, but there's like people. Some of them look familiar, some don't look familiar. Some of them you do recognize. And at one point, you see an astronaut, and at another point, you see a man whose face is covered in like a skull tattoo face, holding a briefcase. He just gives you a wink or a nod. And at another point.
Yeah, they just like politely nod back and keep going, following the snail.
It's as if these people are aware of you or know you, but they're not. It's like being invited to a stranger's party where people have been told all of your dirty secrets or know all about you. It's this kind of awareness.
Okay.
So you carry on, and eventually, at some point, yes, you do see a familiar face, and he seems to be arguing with a bizarre wood creature, a bizarre entity that's made entirely of wood. And he's kind of poking him back and forth, and he's just screaming, I never went into those contractual obligations. I owe you nothing, you fucking piece of flint. I'll fucking set you on fire. And he seems to keep screaming this or repeating this.
I've forgotten that gentleman's name.
Oh, Ashwood, Mr. Ashwood.
Wow. So he sees Ashwood. He's not seen Ashwood for a long time. It's been a long time since he's gone back to the Wizard's Knob before. And he will shamble up to Ashwood. And as Ashwood is arguing with this tree thing. Excuse me, Ashwood, it's me, it's Aidan. What is this place? Are we in your bar? I don't understand.
He looks to you and just goes, look, sorry, mate, I'm not interested in donations. Good luck with whatever dimension you're going to, all right, mate? All right, I've got something to deal with right now.
No, I'm the kindred you talked to in your bar in London.
He kind of really squints at you, and then looks and goes, "No, you're not. I know that. You're not
Something's
Kindred,
happened.
mate."
I've got this book. I fed it my blood, and now I'm here. There's something chasing me. I came for a door in a fucking tree.
Wait, London? I haven't gone to London yet.
Well, you are there now.
Oh, all right, all right. This has happened to me before. Okay. It may confuse you, but I'm past Ashwood, I think, if I'm correct. Now, I'm going to apply to a license to go to London, but I've not been there yet.
Well, is this the fucking Christmas Carol? You're past Ashwood. What the hell does that mean?
Oh, look, there was another fellow in here earlier who was asking me about this. Look, I haven't gone to London yet. I'm just about to apply for the license to be in London. All right. Now, any questions or qualms, all right, we can make arrangements and deals, but I can't guarantee them until my future self acknowledges it. I know it's a bit complicated, but I think you get through your old head.
So there's nothing you can do for me here?
Well, why are you here? What did you do?
I don't know. I've got this book. I'm reading the book. The book sent me here. Silver book. Positive, negative.
Oh, not. Is it? It's not a high spoken book.
I've got no idea what the hell it's called. Sky. I worked out something called Sky Tongue.
Oh, right. Sky Tongue. God blimey. You should just said in the first place. Right. That'll get you straight up to the head like office. They'll make you skip queues for that if you found one of those books. Look. I don't know your particulars, but look, if you just it sounds weird, but could you just show me your chest?
Fine. There's been weirder things happening to me today, and he will undo his shirt and show.
You show your old man chest, and you even look and go, "Oh my god, it's so saggy and so drawn." But the book is drawn on you. The book is on your skin. The language is on you. It's scattered about you, and you realize it's all over your chest. And of course, it seems to be moving and mixing, and is merged with you almost. And it instantly, as Ashwood looks at this and just simply goes, "Whoa, okay, this is an advanced case. Here, look. Just skip to the head of the line. Here, go to the front desk, and they'll sort you out. But well, best of luck to you." And I'll try and remember the name. What was your name again? Aiden?
Aiden Walsh.
Oh, well, I'll make note of it. And if I see you down the line, I'll give you a drink or two.
But I make a point to see you again after this. I've not been there for a while. No offense.
Look, there's certain rules with causality and time. It gets a bit complicated. But I'm sure the next time I see you, I'll mention about tonight.
Fine. We'll see. I shall look very different too. Look after yourself, Ashwood. Where's this fucking desk?
He just points and it's a sort of as if it's appeared out of nowhere, funny enough, as if he was in this massive waiting room. But by seeking the desk or wanting to seek the main desk, it suddenly appears. And you see a kind of a sort of large desk with this glass plate over it. And the number sort of serving 42, Aiden, just appears above it.
And Aiden will go over to this desk. Is anybody behind the desk?
As you walk to the desk, you suddenly kind of, as if you just appear in another room, another area, another sort of, suddenly the noise is behind you, the music stops, and you're just nothing but blackness kind of surrounds you but this desk. And as you look around the desk, there is nothing. But when you appear to this shutter, or this sort of shutter that's just hovering above the desk, suddenly it will open. And as it opens, it just merely says, "Hello, I am Index 42. How can I help you?"
My name is Aidan Walsh. I have a book. It's written in Sky Tongue. It's on my chest. It's directed to you, wherever you are.
I am Index 42. You have book Sky Tongue. Interesting. I will form. Please fill in. He literally hands you like 20 pages of forms to fill in. And it's like names, details, address, social security, current plane of existence, planet. He just was there.
Have you got a pen?
Pen. English, 18th, 19th century. Yes, and it just basically a pen appears in your hand, as if it's kind of confused, like you need to write it down. Okay, oh, fair enough. Yes, we understand circumstances. Now,
thank you.
You're going to have another role here, and this is going to be your stamina and academics. The amount of paperwork you have to fill in. This creature entity will just ignore anything you do or say unless you fill in this paperwork. So you're going to have to fill in like a whole life story.
Stamina 2. Academics 2. Are you minusing anything?
I think it's bureaucracy. Minusing 2. Minusing 2. It's confusing.
Okay, so
this will add to a later role.
I get 1 success. That's pretty good.
Wow. You've beat the system. Okay. This thing, just if you say, you don't want to fill in the paperwork, please tell me where I am, what's happening. It doesn't respond. It just gives you the same answer.
Aidan's too tired.
Yeah, you're too tired. He's
going to try and fill this stuff out as best he can.
You fill in the forms, and it's 20 pages. Wait a minute. No, 30 pages. No, 40 pages.
What's your mother's maiden name? I don't know. I just called her Ma.
I just called her Ma. So it's just endless paperwork that you're filling in. Pointless request. What was your last meal? When was the last time you swam? It just information beyond necessary. But you find a clause, you find like a little loophole, a tick box where do you agree to ignore previous statements or information and proceed to fast track status? And it seems to as if by ticking this box or signing it, it will ignore this for an emergency period where you can ask questions or gain information. But it kind of implies you have to fill a lot more paperwork out later. But this is a kind of a shortcut to what you want, questions, answers. And you tick this box or you fill in the gaps. What do you say?
Yeah, I need to get answers, man. I'll do this fast track box.
And as you do so, the paperwork literally evaporates in front of you. Disappears in front of you. The pen evaporates in front of you as if it didn't need to be filled in, but it's just was there. But by ticking this, you've eliminated it all, got rid of it all. Inquiry open memory. Sorry, I've just authorized. Okay, and it merely just speaks to you and goes, you are Sky Tongue user. Do you have permission or authorization?
I just worked it out from looking at it. To a point.
By signing agreement terms, will give you a temporary license of understanding. Do you accept these agreements and terms? And it gives you this big list that seems to float in front of you or appear before you.
Can I glance over? Does anything seem too nasty?
It's just far too much. Far too much. We're talking languages and beyond comprehension.
Fine. It's a bit like when you join some kind of website on the internet and there's like, and you just scroll down everything and just click yes.
Yes. There is the accept yes icon. It's just one of those things, or it's beyond comprehension. So you click yes, and it simply sort of looks at you as a return user of Sky Language Notebook memory format. Reward given by bureaucracy of Oh, sorry, I do have a name. Oh, the Grand Recorder. 3 statements, questions can be answered, asked. Of myself, inquiry, index.
Okay. What is the book?
Book is of memory recordings, memory of individuals, Serena, angel, creature of justice, terms and conditions of her imprisonment and release.
Okay, I don't know. This is all new to me. I've not heard the name Serena before.
Oh yes, yeah.
So I think angel. Fuck. Is this the angel in London?
Serena. Last recording, placement, London, England, Iron Isles, 2000 BC. Placement under new law, conviction of the Abolishment Agreement. Placement resting upon nexus point, upon confusion, element of evil, ritual, blood, or circumstances that would kill, disrupt mortal well-beings. Upon agreement, she is released, made whole, purge, destroy, abomination, cursed demon, blood kindred.
Can I use this book against her?
Authorization given. She is summoned upon grievance, on accord, blood, kindred, death, once in a cycle. Accordance broken. She is being summoned again, has corrupted individuals, mortals, enlightened martyrs. Warning, demon against machine tides. This is mortal influence forbidden.
Aidan, we'll just look at this figure now. Were those my 3 questions?
He will look to you closer. Authorization needed for further inquiry. And he kind of gestures for a piece of paperwork. And this is the final roll for paperwork. I'll give you that. This is more of a presence. And
Okay.
Let's say presence. I never thought I'd say this before. Presence in academia to represent how well you come across. This is about you using your ability, your gifts.
So presence, 3, academia 2, that's 5. Is there any
academia and or occult? Whatever's the highest, I think, on this, because it's so random and so weird and beyond your understanding.
Yeah, it'll be occult, so it'll be 6 dice 10.
Oh wow, okay, we'll see how many successes you gain there.
1 success.
1 success, just about. Okay. He looks, and it's as if he, as you ask a further question, there's another form that requires you to ask for. And it's,
man, Aidan's getting very tired now.
Yeah, it's like you're asking for permission on a third basis, on another person's of a higher language or high understanding of it. And the only person you could know of or think of with the name is Ashwood.
What?
As in, the only other person you know in this place or area that's authorized to be here is Ash.
Yeah.
Or the snail, but you don't know the snail's name. So,
I should have been more sociable at the bar. At the
but you can put his name down. It's asking for a reference.
Then the only person he knows would be Ashwood.
Okay, so you put his name down. It seems to authorize. Authorization. 1/3 question given. Wait. Warning. Error. Unknown presence detected. Creature. Beast. Kindred. Approaching.
Oh fuck! And this Aidan will look around to see if this horrible thing's creeping up on him.
It's not in the room. It's just nothing but blackness. It's just this desk and a shutter where you can only see this creature via this shutter. But nothing else is around you. You don't feel anything else around you or sense anything else around you.
Okay. So I'm looking around this room with this guy. He's told me, go back to.
He's told you yes, this creature's around, but he's also given you one authorization, one further question, or index inquiry.
How do I get home from here?
Follow. Yellow path, yellow brick road. Home. Warning. Kindred presence, kindred entity, blood, parasite, in premises. Record keeper informed will be present shortly. Please fill in satisfactory form. And with this, it kind of gives you this wave or a nod, as this form is basically, it's like a how did I do my performance form. That's then presented before you. And a door kind of, or shutter opens behind you.
Well, then he'll just quickly, I haven't got a pen anymore. I just take the form and I just go through it. I go shambling through this door trying to find this yellow brick road.
Yeah, and you follow this yellow path that's kind of guided in front of you. And as you follow this path, you exit the tree again. You go back outside. But as you do so, you just hear this loud horn, this loud noise just bellow, and it shakes the ground and shakes the tree itself. And as it does so, this creature or thing that's emerging is coming from the clouds below, or from the ground below you. Oh fuck! I had the image and I don't know where I put it. Okay, but you sort of scurry before you, and the yellow brick road is now before you and in front of you. What are your thoughts and feelings as you kind of trying to rush in a very old?
So what do I see? What image comes up from the clouds?
There is an image, and I will show you in a moment. I just need to find it. I haven't posted it into the actual Manicam thing. So at the moment, it's just you that you feel it, you hear it around you, or you see it around you, but it's not quite in visual sight yet. Okay. I must admit, you just see a hand that suddenly grasps the island itself. The thumb kind of nearly squashes you as it kind of lands on the island as you try to move or go around the yellow brick road.
Wow, if that's what's happening, then Aidan will just, as soon as a hand of mine squishes him, he's going to think, fuck this, and he's going to go as long skedaddling down that yellow brick road as fast as he can.
And yeah, you keep pacing yourself. You keep running. You go forward and forward and forward. Damn, it's a really good image, and I can't find it for some reason.
That can post on the page.
I'll post it on the page as it happens. It's just so annoying. I thought I had it in there, and for some reason it's not there. God knows why. So, yes, you keep pacing yourself. And as you go down the yellow brick road, as you go forward and further, again, you're limping, you're crawling, you're kind of, your bones are really starting to ache now. They're starting to really hurt now. And as you do so, as you go forward, suddenly this image emerges behind you. Not only behind you, behind the tree itself, which is quite grand and quite massive. And this entity, this creature, just the kind of the noise just simulates the word, a word that echoes amongst the trees that are scattered around this realm. The record keeper, the boss, the individual in charge. And it seems to, as these words are said, you see this huge figure that dwarfs the tree that you've just escaped from. And he sort of emerges behind you with these large wings that are made of books or pages. He seems to be floating in the air, made of marble or stone. And his gaze kind of goes towards you. And this, as he opens his mouth, a loud horn or the sound of brass emanates. And it's the sound of an intruder, the sound of an exile, someone not wanted here. And as the sound echoes and just jumps at you, you go towards the end of this yellow path, and it leads before you a empty black abyss, and all you can see in this abyss is the mouth, those large teeth, that hunger, that craving for you. And its mouth widens very gently, very softly open, waiting for you to jump.
Aidan will look back. What does he see?
You look back and you see this creature not only suddenly make this warning sound, it will grab the tree that you've just emerged from, this massive tree, and tear it up from the roots and throw it into the abyss, throw it into the nothingness that storms and scatters below you, and then suddenly will grasp or reach its massive hand towards you to basically squat you or grab you.
As Aidan sees this big hand come to get him, he'll just think, "Battle of devil, you know," and he'll just jump into the opening maw in the darkness.
And as you do so, the maw opens, the teeth are many and large. And as the further you go into the mouth, the more teeth, the more mouth, the more throat, the deeper it goes. And you get swallowed and swallowed and swallowed and swallowed until the point where you suddenly, you awaken. And you awaken to the sound of gunfire. You awaken to the sounds of machine guns, to cars, to machines. Your kindred senses kick in. Your heart, thank God, is no longer beating. The beast is back. And you see before yourself, you are in a truck, in a lorry. And you're surrounded by your servants, by your ghouls, who seem to be using machine guns or pistols, firing out the back of this truck to police cars or other cars that are following you or chasing you. And as you emerge, Joey, who is just firing MP3 at some civilians just to sort of so that they would crash and collapse into the car, will look back to you, go, "Oh, fucking hell, boss! Thank fuck you just woke up. We desperately need you."
Wait, what's happened? Why am I in the back of this truck?
Well, yeah, and you just hold on, and he just empties a clip, like just fires these rounds out of the truck, and then throws the gun to the ground, and just simply looks to you and just goes, "Look. Yeah, I don't know. You fell asleep for like 3 nights. You wouldn't wake up. I don't know. The Enlightened just attacked. We're getting you to the second safe house, the Carthian safe house. Just stay where you are. Me and the boys have got it sorted."
The first thing he'll do is he'll look to see if he has the book with him still.
The book is gone. The book has vanished. There's no presence of it there. It's as if it was never there in the first place.
What did you bring from the Haven? Did you bring that metal book with you?
It's gunfires like flashing behind him, or the sounds are much behind him, because there wasn't any book. We just found you on the floor. You had some strange markings on your chest, and I don't know. We tried to wake you and dragged you upstairs, but then the Enlightened attack, and we're making up as we go along.
As he says strange markings on your chest, Aidan will be opening his shirt to look down at his chest.
And yes, there are some of the markings, the moon symbols, and the language of the angels written on your chest. And they seem to be carved on your chest and carved quite expertly, or quite. It's not like scarring. It's kind of what's the word? Bone shanking or
Bone shanking? What the fuck's
no,
that?
no, not bone shanking. When you write or graph on bones, there's a term I'm trying to.
I know what you mean.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the word. I can't think of the word. Anyway, it's kind of hip score. Anyway, it's just been drawn onto your chest in a very elegant sort of way. And yes, there's machine gun fire, bullet fire, and you've basically put into like a wooden coffin, almost, or container. And he kind of just simply just drops your head down, going, look, you gotta stay quiet. It's daylight out there. You won't survive a second.
It's fucking daylight shit. It's like
you're waking, you don't realize, and as you get your senses in, yes, it is daylight outside. You see the door swinging back and forth. And it's the equivalent of waking up from a heavy sleep. You're kind of in and out. You're not sure what's going on.
Yeah, I think Aiden's got an inkling that sunlight would be very bad for him in these current states.
Oh, yes. Oh, you may get up and fight if you wish, but I think no in the circumstance. So you control yourself. Your beast tells you to go back to sleep. It wants to go back to sleep. But you just sort of phase out to Joey, just sort of shouting more orders out. And
Aiden will lie in this coffin, just try hoping, like, so he can stay out the sun if the sunlight breaks into the van, which obviously it will be doing. And he'll just be trying to, even though the beast is just desperately trying to get him to sleep, he will fight sleep like a toddler fights sleep while just listening to his ghouls around him.
I may have to make a roll. Depending on how good your ghouls are. So, what is your retainer merit, or your retainer ability? Just to make this fair, because you're
retainer. I've got like 2 ghouls: Joey Power 3 Combat 6, Peter Power 3 Combat 6.
So it's 3 dots in the merit, yeah.
Yeah, they've basically got like Power 3 Combat 6.
Double that, so that is 6 dice. So hashtag repeat, because they're in a combat situation. So that's fine. So it's 6 dice, but I'm going to give it a minus, let's say -2 due to circumstance. So it's 4 dice, 4d10. There is 2 of them though, so let's say it's 5 dice just to get an extra. This represents how well they defend you. How well,
come on, boys.
They manage you. They get single success.
It's been a single success scene today.
It's been a very moderate, simple scene. So they protected you. They've done their job. They've not done it in a very good way, but they've not exposed you to any daylight. They've actually taken injuries upon themselves to protect you. But we'll reveal that all in the next scene. So at this point, I think we'll end the scene on final thoughts or feelings.
Do they end the scene by just driving into the safe house?
Basically, they drive off, go into the distance. They lose their enlightened, or the police that are trying to follow them. They do this by actually shooting civilians or shooting other cars to protect their master, to protect their blood giver. And they do it in a very violent way, but that's another issue.
I think that is a very valid tactic.
They do. This is the Banshee. It's very brutal, very savage. They learn, either you are the victim or the one causing the victim. So they've learned to be harsh and rough, and they speed off into a safe house, a Carthian safe house. As a backup space in case of events, in case of hunter activity. And as this goes off, we will go towards the final thoughts and feelings of our kindred, who's just kind of dreamt of this world, or perhaps been there. We are unsure.
As the wail of the car chase and being fired upon and waking up during daylight all happens, when they get to the safe house, when he gets out the back of the van, he'll just say to Joey and Peter, find me somewhere to sleep. God damn it. And I assume they're sitting somewhere to sleep, and then at that point he'll just look at them and go, "You did well," and then he'll feed both the ghouls.
Okay. As this happens, of course, the ghouls are thankful. There's a grand moment of embracement of they've pleased their master via the deaths, via the corpses that lay behind them. But we will end scene on this dream or reality. We are unsure.
Well, as Aidan lies down and like drifts back into his day sleep, he'll just trace the scar tissue on his chest until he just fades away like a reverse heart attack into darkness.
And we will zoom in on to whether this individual is that old man or the shadowy creature that haunted him. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the show.